cater to the varying needs of the students' population. A special focus on content in all the Indian languages will be emphasized, and required digital content will need to reach the teachers and the students in this medium. Virtual labs. Existing e-learning platform such as Diksha, Swayam and Swayam Prabha will also be leveraged for creating virtual labs so that all the students have equal access to quality, practical and hands-on experience based learning experiences. The possibility of providing adequate access to the ACG students and teacher should suitable digital device such as tablet with preloaded content will be considered and developed. Training and incentive for teachers. Training will undergo rigorous training in learning centric pedagogy and on how to become high quality online content creators themselves using online teaching platform and tools. There will be an emphasis on teachers' role in facilitating active student engagements with the content and with each other. Online assessment and examinations. Appropriate bodies such as the proposed National Assessment Center or PARAK, school boards, NTA, and other identified bodies will design and implement assessment framework encompassing the design of competencies, portfolio, rubrics, standardized assessment, and assessment analysis. Students will be undertaken to pilot new ways of assessment using educational technology focusing on 21st century skills. Blended model of learning. While promoting digital learning and educating, the importance of face to face in person learning is fully recognized. According to different effective models of blended learning will be identified for appropriate replication of subjects. The point that I would like to emphasize is creating a dedicated unit for building of world-class digital infrastructure, educational digital content and capacity. Technology in education is a journey and not a destination, and capacity will be needed to plan the various ecosystem players to implement policy objective. A dedicated unit for the purpose of planning the building of digital infrastructure, digital content, and capacity building will be created in the ministry to look after the e-education needs for both school and higher education. Since technology is rapidly evolving and needs specialists to deliver high quality e-learning, a vibrant ecosystem has to be encouraged to create solutions that only solves that not only solves Indian challenges of scale, diversity, equity, but also evolves in keeping with the rapid change in the technology. But also evolves in keeping with the rapid change in technology, whose half life reduces with each passing year. This center will therefore consider an expert drawn from field of administration, education, educational technology, digital pedagogy, and assessment of the e-governance. Lastly, I would like to say that online education is the future which will be coming up, and we need to educate the teachers, we need to educate the students how to use the digital equipments. And rightly said, one of the educators have told about the O labs. During the pandemic, we educators have used the O lab facilities and introduced in our school and have explained the student how to use this O labs, and it was very fruitful for all of us to use this O lab facility. So there are many facilities that and the apps and the websites which can be used for educating our children and give them quality education. So it will take time for the implementation of online and digital education, but slowly and gradually it will be implemented. This is what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha ma'am. Absolutely, absolutely. I'll begin with your last part that there are many freely available resources. We talk about there are so many technology companies. We talk about them. There are companies like Khan Academy. There are companies like you talked about those Swam Diksha. Those government platforms where knowledge is freely available. In fact, there are many big not-for-profit organizations like Microsoft Research, like the Gates Foundation. So they are offering so many programs, internationally recognized programs for teachers. But the one thing which Dhirendra sir said, like one thing which many other educators have also, shared that we need that intent. That intent is required. The sources are available, and I'll just re publish the quote, a Korean quote that you know resources are always limited. It is the creativity which always unlimited. So we have to use that, and we need to be intended. We need to embrace this change and this national education policy. You talked about so many important things, ma'am. You talked about why we need that capacity and capability development, programs for our educators and for our trainers. You also talk about that we need to have that kind of dedicated unit to build and establish even distribution of digital infrastructure in our country. And this pandemic, as I said in the beginning, has exposed that how poor digital infrastructure we have across country. You talked about these wonderful initiatives by which NEP is proposing. Right. So thank you, Manisha ma'am. I'll be coming back to you with questions. Now, I would request Mr. Nitin Nagpal. Nitinji, if we can have your ideas, your perspective.
Thank you, Rajulji, and thank you, distinguished speakers, for being so patient. Uh, I would begin with Sir William Butler's statement that education is not the filling of a pail, but it's the lighting of a fire. And few years back, I saw a teenager wearing a wonderful T-shirt with an even wonderful statement written on it that in my class I learned how to sleep with my eyes wide open. Just give me an allow. Now, how contradictory these two informations are. Uh, NEP hopefully 2020 has given us a wonderful chance. All the educators given us a wonderful chance so that we can awaken the students not only from outside but from inside as well, using that very fire that is required. Now, any education policy of any country aims at two most important things. One is that education in its right spirits must reach every student of the country. And second is that citizens of the country must be doing works which matches their skills and interest so that they can happily build a stronger and better nation. Now, I'll be speaking on the importance of career counseling and the right way of scientific way of doing it. Uh, while we choose a job, we try to find a job which matches our skills and interest. However, at the time of choosing a career, is enough importance given to the aptitude, personality, skills, and interest? Unfortunately, not. We have still been following the conventional ways. Now, the question is, are there other better ways which are available? Yes, there are. There are psychometric assessment in order to check the aptitude, personality, and interest of any individual, and it is very widely used in the corporate world, where a job, a candidate's job suitability is checked to find out whether a person is fit for the job or not. But in the career counseling domain, these psychometric assessment have not been able to pick up. The reason is there are two reasons. One is that the tests are not age appropriate. Students get bored and do not understand the importance of this test. पहले 10 क्वेश्चंस तो वो सीरियसली करते हैं थोड़ा सा, और उसके बाद they randomly give the answers. The what goes in is garbage and what comes out is eventually a garbage as well. And at times they do not understand the context of the question कि वो पूछना क्या चाह रहा है. So that is why it has not been able to pick up. And I'm feel very privileged and proud to say that eMango Education, which I am representing today, for the first time in the world, is going to convert the psychometric assessment in the form of video games, where a student will actually be playing a video game, but at the back end, his psychometric assessment will be going on. And we are working with the R&D department of IIT Delhi to do so. Uh, and if you allow me to present my screen, I would like to very quickly show you a technology driven portal that we have developed for the school administration and for the students. Hope my screen is visible to everyone. Hello. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible. Yes.
Oh, thank you. So this is our portal, eMango, that is education management on the go. There is a list of various trending careers. We are following a 4-step simple approach that a student must take, or anyone who is guiding the student must take, that explore what are the careers available. We have a list of more than 400 careers. Find the best fit career using the psychometric assessment. Move on the path, that which colleges across the globe, which scholarship exams across the globe, and entrance exams across the globe are there in order to move into the path of that career, and how to reach and accelerate in that career domain to reach at the epitome. Now, if you allow me, I will quickly take you to a student's dashboard. Explore career. A student can explore a career and know about the various detail about the career. What are the skills required? What are the future prospects? What are the salaries in India? What are the various paths that can be taken to for this career? What are the works that are required to be done? What are the top colleges? What are the courses? What are the entrance exams? Professional growth, industries that he will work in, career specialization. Suppose in ophthalmology there is pediatrics ophthalmologist, ocular surgeon, professor and lectures. These are the various career specialization. What are the colleges and exams for this career? What are the skills, personality, interest required? Jobs, future prospect, current, near future, and long term future. Number of jobs in last 3 years. Salary at entry, middle level, and senior level. Salaries across the globe. What are the famous personality? So a student can know about all the careers. And the very good thing about this is that he will not have to, or she will not have to read the text. We have converted everything into the audiovisual format. You can simply plug in the earphone and listen about any career. After that, he'll have to give the best fit career, the psychometric assessment. Then what are the colleges uh, which are available across the globe for a career? Suppose is a college, and what is the rank of the college, world rank of the college, placement, what is the exams required, what courses the college is offering, all the important detail. What are the exams required for this college? What are the scholarships available for this particular college? And similarly, he can go and search the exams. What are the various competitive events that are going on in the category of sports? बच्चा sports में अच्छा है तो उसके लिए कौन से competitive events हैं? NTSC NSO Olympiads कौन से competitive events दे सकता है? डांस म्यूजिक से रिलेटेड कौन से कॉम्पिटिटिव इवेंट्स दे सकता है? वो आर्ट्स ड्रामा थिएटर, he can select कौन से इवेंट्स हैं अवेलेबल फॉर हिम if he is interested in any event, right? So, and we want that all this information should be available to student from the school's own website. Student should not go and search Google, not go and search here and there to waste time, because Google वहां ले जाना चाहता है जहां वो ले जाना चाहता है. Or student get trapped in the web of the counselors who are actually the agents of at times various colleges. So we do not want that any unauthentic information should go to the students, and all this information should be available to student from school's own website. If he is stuck somewhere, he can connect to the various counselors. He can connect and get his doubts clear. There are scholarships, there are internships are going to be very important part uh, uh, after the introduction of NEP. So this is the exact platform of the student with many more features. We have less time, that is why I'll not be able to show you all the features. And I would request Rajul, if I have 1 minute to show the school dashboard for principals, or am I running out of time?
You can take 30 more seconds to conclude, sir.
Okay. I can't. Okay. Just a second. I would very quickly just take you to the so this is a school dashboard wherein school can see how many students are there. School can add any student. Our classmates school can add the students. Now this very good two section of my champions and my alumnus are there. कि जहाँ पे मेरे स्पोर्ट्स के कौन से चैंपियन है स्कूल के, एकेडमिक्स के, एनटीएससी के, डांस, म्यूजिक, आर्ट्स, ड्रामा, स्कूल अपने चैंपियंस को यहाँ ऐड कर सकता है एंड गेट टू नो कि मेरे स्पोर्ट्स के ये चैंपियन है. सिमिलरली कोई बच्चा 12th पास करेगा, वो माई एल्यूमिनस सेक्शन में चला जाएगा कि किस बच्चे ने यहाँ पे दिखाने के लिए हमने रजुल आपका नाम भी डाला हुआ है, किस बच्चे ने कौन सी स्ट्रीम ली थी, किस कॉलेज में एडमिशन लिया था एंड किस कोर्स में एडमिशन लिया था. सो दैट जो अगला आने वाला ईयर है, बैच है बच्चों का, वो अपने स्कूल के एल्यूमिनस से गाइडेंस ले सकता है कि आपने यहाँ एडमिशन लिया था, हाउ इज इट एंड एवरीथिंग. सिमिलरली ओवरऑल एप्टीट्यूड ग्राफ की स्कूल का ओवरऑल वर्बल एप्टीट्यूड कैसा है, न्यूमेरिकल एप्टीट्यूड कैसा है, लॉजिकल एप्टीट्यूड कैसा है, विच वी आर चेकिंग थ्रू द साइकोमेट्रिक असेसमेंट. क्लास वाइज इसका लॉजिकल एप्टीट्यूड कैसा है, कितने बच्चे रियलिस्टिक हैं क्लास में, स्कूल में पूरे इन्वेस्टिगेटिव कितने बच्चे हैं, एंड सो ऑन एंड henceforth. There are a lot of things in the school dashboard which unfortunately I'm running out of time, so I'll not be able to show. So over to you, Rajul, and thank you for listening out to me.
Thank you. And I really dream if I would have this kind of system when I was in school. Certainly, perhaps I won't be organizing these sessions now. So thank you all. Now with this, I would request Dr. Deepika Yadav, our last key speaker for the session. Dr. Deepika Yadav ji, over to you.
Yes, sir. Sir, so I'll just
You are not audible, Deepika ji.
So I'm not
Your voice
audible.
is breaking. Your voice is breaking in between.
Sir, now it is audible.
Yeah,
because
it is. Yeah,
it is
it is
audible
better
now.
now.
Yeah, okay, sir.
It is better now.
So I'll directly begin with CBCS curriculum that we have implemented to bridge the gap between university and job industry. And I believe the same thing applies to school team also, that helps students to bridge the gap between school and university. So in a way, we both the institutes are related to one another. Actually, CBCS is choice-based credit system. Here, choice-based means choice of multiple courses, and credit means class hours per week. That carries additional importance in credit system. So here 1 credit is equivalent to 1 hour of theory teaching, and 1 hour credit is also equivalent to 2 hours of practical that is we are conducting at university. In simple words, I would define it as a student-centric approach to learning or acquiring higher education. So CBCS, that is choice-based credit system, provides a convenient, at the same time effective teaching learning platform wherein the students or knowledge seeker has flexibility to choose their course from a list of open elective, departmental elective, and soft skill courses. Core subject, of course, will be given a mandatory requirement. For engineering stream, first year is common for all branches. That includes basic sciences, subject, yoga, and personality development courses. From second year onwards, core subjects will be introduced stream-wise. So that we at SRM University follow the CBCS syllabus for Triple E department, which provides opportunity to Triple E students to enhance their skills and knowledge to meet industry expectation. Apart from foundation courses, we have open elective for our curriculum, and list of open elective courses is selected in such a manner so that student can acquire skills of learning. We at SRM University give opportunity to students to learn German, French, or Japanese as a foreign language. As per Industry 4.0, which is referred as Energy 4.0 in power sector, that is digital transformation in power sector that is taking place. So student will be trained to learn application of electrical engineering in IoT, cloud computing, Python and big data analytics, machine learning, neurofuzzy and genetic programming, artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, etc. Along with that, various other choices of management subjects such as economics, principle of management, industrial engineering, and management, intellectual property rights, innovation and technology, etc., are also part of our curriculum for overall holistic development of student personality to be created during our course. Similarly, our fine-tuned and specialized curriculum covers list of departmental electives which deal with study of advanced topics related to power electronics and power system, electric vehicle, renewable energy, microgrids, smart grids, etc. Our department follows innovative practices to enhance student skills by encouraging them to learn via MOOC courses also, that is massive open online courses by using various online platforms like NPTEL, etc., where they do the assignment and learn along with it. Faculty member also trains students with GATE preparation to enhance their skill to get into core companies. Also, we have a semester abroad program where SRM University is having tie-up or MOU signed by various international university where students have liberty to go there and complete one semester and credit will be transferred to their degree. And also, I'd like to inform that as per CBCS syllabus, one complete eighth semester is dedicated for industrial training for 5 months duration. And our aim is to provide an opportunity to students to get familiarized with the industry of their own discipline and discover the organization within the industry. Along with that, various industrial visit also from time to time is arranged for student to know the application part of it. As well as student have to prepare various major and minor project from time to time under the guidance of faculty members. Also, I like to mention that if any Indian student who want to pursue their higher education in European countries, then they have to have a UG degree, that is undergraduate degree of credits above 180. So here we give opportunity to students to earn 185 credits or you can say more than 180 credits for their respective courses by adding various value added courses to it. So basically my aim is to create a multidisciplinary approach for our students so that we can equip them in a manner so that they're able to face real world challenges and later on not just job seekers but as per our logo of SRM University, learn, leap and lead in a way so that in future they are confident enough to open up their own startup or to enhance their own entrepreneur skills in a way serving mankind in a better way with multidisciplinary approach. That's it from my side. I like to state an example that if suppose a CSC student, if any student who pursues BTech in computer science, and after that he, pursue LLB also. So his approach, to whatever cyber threats we are getting, if such type of multidisciplinary approach, if we follow, then ultimately the student or whosoever the person is concerned will have altogether a different approach, which a normal LLB cannot have, or to understand that problem area. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Deepika ji, for sharing, these valuable inputs and how SRM University is implementing those parts. Thank you. We'll be coming back to you with questions. So with this, we come to the, last part of this session. The question part. We have already received many questions from different educators. I would be requesting all our key speakers if we can present these questions to you all. So before I start presenting these questions to all our key speakers, I just would take a minute in explaining what exactly we have been doing at School Lalaji Solutions. So please allow me to share my screen for a minute. Some of you are already aware with School Lalaji Solutions, we are India's largest one-stop solution platform for educational institutions. We are present in 42 cities, working with some around 3,000, 4,500 institutions. We help educational institutions in three ways. We help them in buying right thing from right people at right price. We also help them in selling their old stuff like their old buses, generators, furnitures. We also help institutions in raising money, that maybe in terms of loans or fee financing. Why there is a need for a platform like School Lalaji Solutions? You already have your old suppliers. Your team is expert. You believe that you are getting good discount. So why you need a platform like School Lalaji Solutions? In our country, we have more than 10,000 plus educational suppliers in different categories. It's become very difficult, practically impossible for all these school leaders to meet and interact with all these people. Most of the schools do not have those procurement departments or those R&D departments, who have the capabilities and capacity to, category-wise expertise to interact with all the companies and to find their, nuance and create a differentiation between all those companies. So here we come into picture. We understand your school, we understand your taste, your actual requirement, your budgetary limitation. We also have category experts who, keep on interacting with these different companies. Also do the credibility test. We also talk to their, previous clients to understand their service record and all those kind of things. We also negotiate with them. So then we connect you with the right people, right companies. We help educational institutions in these different categories: smart classroom procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel, solar plant, language lab, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM STEAM labs, career counseling, stationery, digital marketing, IT solutions, educational tour, generators, learning tools, and finance. And we take the guarantee that we'll save at least your 5 to 7% of your annual expenditure. So that's kind of a 5% additional revenue generation for your institution. Just one example, we saved 2 crore 40 lakh rupees, for different schools in one category only. That's bus insurance. So major highlights: solar installation, bus insurance, 3,000 bus insurance, 400 smart classrooms, cameras, training programs, old buses, uniform in 42 schools. And by the end of 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So I'll end my talk here. I would now request all our key speakers, if I may present these questions to you all. I'll request Dhirendra sir, if we have your presence, would like to present this first question to you. Right, Dhirendra sir, do we have your presence? Okay, so I'll present this one to Sahani ma'am. Sahani ma'am, if I may present this question to you. Sahani ma'am, you are on mute. Okay, so I'll request Sudha Rampal. Sahani ma'am is back. You are on mute, ma'am. This question has come from Ms. Neer Jeher Haldar. He's a TGT English from Sunbeam Sun City School, Varanasi. The question says, is it really possible to apply regional language formula in all parts of country? Ma'am, you are on mute.
Okay, now I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, talking about this regional language formula, I would say that there are, different opinions to it. Say, for example, a child, supposing we are having a school. Say, for example, there the languages spoken, regional languages, it includes Hindi also, Punjabi also, and say, for example, Gujarati also. So it will not be possible for the school to cater to all the regional languages. So as we have been discussing with the other academicians also. So the stand in this case would be that the majority, whatever the majority of the demands would be there, so that language would be provided. Though, of course, there can be one option attached to it, that though the medium of instruction cannot be, you cannot expect a school to keep a teacher who can speak Punjabi also and Gujarati also and Marathi also. It will be very difficult. But yes, whatever the majority demands, the school will arrange a teacher for that. And still, if that particular student is having a problem in following that particular regional language, they can be allowed to write in the regional language of their choice, and that they will manage on their own. Means some sort of intermediate solutions, I mean, would be coming up. That is what I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be coming back to you. Now, I would request Sudha ma'am, if I may present this question to you. This has been asked by Miss
Okay, ours is a multilingual
question. There's a different question for you, ma'am.
Okay.
The question is from Oishi Dawn. She is a teacher with Sunbeam English School, Bhagwanpur, Varanasi. The question says, how should be the online and offline activities synced to get the best output? Just imagine
Online and offline activities.
Right. So 2021, when we have those offline activities or like normal things. So how do you see that, integration of both sides, offline and online? Sudha ma'am.
See, when we talk about offline, we are very much familiar with all the different kinds of activities we have been doing. But it's normal. And this is not the normal time when we are running our show online. So in online also, we have tried to do as much as possible. If you take up physical exercises, all physical exercises were done by the children. Teacher would make a video, send it to them. They would in turn do the exercises, send the videos back to the teachers. If you talk about art, although we did not keep art in the timetable because of the restriction of the time, and only 2 hours or 3 hours of classes were being held, what we did was the teacher would make a video whereby she makes a bird or whereby she makes a art and craft thing and passes it on to the children. And children seeing those, and assemblies were being conducted. All children sitting at home, they conducted their assemblies, whether it was Guru Purab or whether it was Diwali or whether it was any festival, all the assemblies were conducted sitting at home. So everything was possible even when children were at home. It was a new normal. Yes.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of experts also believe that in next some years, let's say 5 years from now, we are going to see schools having the strength of 5 lakh students or 10 lakh students. That is also a near possibility now. It seems.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. Why? Because see, earlier we were teaching. One teacher had to go to 4 classes, say 4 AB, 5 AB. Now she takes 4 AB together.
Absolutely.
Okay. So they saved on time, but they created many good things. When they saved on time, okay, class time was reduced, but other things they did. They could prepare many kinds of different activities for the children, and they worked in a different manner totally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you, Sudha ma'am. I'll be coming back to you. Now I would request Vishakha ma'am. Vishakha ma'am, this question has come from Miss Reena Bhatnagar. Reena ji is a TGT with Delhi Public School, Bareilly. The question says, how effective this policy would be for studying in class 6 to 8?
I guess this policy would be very, very effective.
Vishakha ma'am, I would request if you can switch off your camera, because your voice is breaking. So maybe because you are traveling. So if you can switch off your camera, that would help in the audio part.
Is the demand of the hour, the introduction, the coding, that the children are getting an exposure of the real world, which they will be entering maybe after the next 6 or 7 years, and they will get the feel and taste of how it will be like. They would get to understand what will be the world like, and using it from the very beginning would also make them define how they want to look into a profession or what vocation they would like to go, because it will give them time to explore. And this exploration would also help them to zero down on a few vocational topics, areas of choice and liking.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you, Vishakha ma'am. Now I would request Manisha ji, ma'am, if I may present this one to you. This has come from Miss Ruchi Shukla. Ruchi ji is a PRT music teacher with Delhi Public School, Bareilly. The question says, what are those key points, for in the policy for especially abled children and for the weaker section of society? Manisha ma'am, if you can highlight some two, initiatives in policy.
For the weaker section?
For weaker section,
And
let's say we'll talk about inclusivity for especially abled and for weaker section students.
Weaker section students, the policy here we can say is for the weaker section, when we have activity based learning. See, like the weaker section has a problem of understanding the language. They have monetary issues also. So we can, the NEP says that we can give the education through activity based learning can be given to the students, and we can have make them learn through these activities. Then we have art integrated education also, which can be given to these students. So this is what I feel we can give the education through these activities, art integrated education and all.
Right. Thank you, Manisha ma'am. I would request now Mr. Nitin Nagpal. Nitin ji, if we have your presence. Nitin ji, do we have your presence here? Okay, I would request Dr. I would request Dr. Nitin ji is back. So Nitin ji, this question about the flexibility which is being offered, for students, for 11th class students. So don't you think it would create more confusion among those students to create the, to choose a career?
Rajul, initially yes, because अभी बच्चे ने physics, chemistry और साथ में music ले लिया, तो what course he will do. But the good thing is that reforms are coming at the higher education level as well. There will be more courses which will be suitable for such students. And this is not a very big task. Like I was sharing my portal. In that portal, a student can simply select the course subjects that he is taking in 11, or he will get to know what courses he can take and where he can take. And I'm sure more platform will come out to clear this confusion. This is not a very good big confusion, but the real confusion that needs to be cleared is that मेरे लिए क्या ठीक है course, not what मैं कर क्या सकता हूँ. This is more, this is the confusion which needs to be clear and given more importance. Hope that solves your question, inquiry.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Nitin ji. Now I would request Dr. Deepika Yadav ji, if we have your presence. Deepika ji, do we have your presence? Okay. So with this, we come to the end of this, this amazing and special session, 114 session of Leadership Talks. So, but I would request all our speakers before we, conclude this session, if we can have your concluding remarks. So, I also have another request. We have established one very interesting practice that while sharing your concluding remark, if you can also share some idea or some thought that you would like to implement at any cost, if you get a chance to become Minister of Education of our country. So what would be that idea that you would like to implement if you get a chance, let's say for one day, you become Minister of Education of our country? So I'll be coming to you randomly. I'll begin with Manisha ma'am, Manisha Soni ma'am. Manisha ji, if I may ask you for your concluding remarks, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education? Manisha ji.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak. Uh, and it was very nice being here. And the most important question that you had asked is, if you become the HRD minister, what will you do? According to me, like, because I am in favor of online education and digital education, so I will look forward. The main important thing is, like you said, 20% of students only can access to the digital education. I would like to uh, cater the children to this digital education. Whatever facilities I can give them, I would like to give them. It will be a costly affair, but still I would like to give the opportunity to each and every one, and give the education through digital media and quality education. That would be one thing which cannot be achieved in one day, but someday or the other it will be achieved. This is what I feel. Thank you.
Right. Absolutely. We all agree with you. That would be a very useful initiative. Thank you, Manisha ma'am, for that. Thank you for joining. And now I would request Mr. Nitin Nagpal. Nitinji, if we can have your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Okay, if I get a chance to become the Minister of Education, यार मैं I will request the Finance Ministry कि हमारे 6,000 करोड़ रुपए जो काटे हैं बजट से वो वापस कर दो please. This is my only priority that would be there. And as a concluding remark, it was a wonderful.
फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री आपसे अगर उल्टा पूछ ले कि जो नहीं काटे उनका क्या करोगे, वो बताओ पहले, है ना?
Okay. So as a concluding remark, it was really enlightening session. I learned a lot from the eminent speaker, and hopefully keeping our fingers crossed that the new education policy is executed and implemented in its right spirits.
Thank you, Nitinji, for your remarks, for your presence. Now, I would request J.K. Sahni ma'am. Sahni ma'am, if I may request you for your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Well, first of all, I hope I'm audible.
You're audible, ma'am.
Okay. First of all, I must say it was wonderful listening to all the educators expressing their views on NEP. And definitely, I think we all look forward that we have a fruitful and the right implementation of NEP. That is one thing. And definitely, there were so many, apprehensions, and there were some doubts also. So I think we did got enlightened on a lot of aspects. And yes, as to your next question, if I were the HRD minister, definitely what I would want is that whatever policy we want to implement, it is not possible till our teachers are properly trained and they are properly, I would say, motivated to carry it out. In fact, none of our policy would work, because they are they're the basic executors, I would say. So in this context, I would definitely recommend that the trainings for the teachers, we already had so much from CBSE side, but we have free trainings, because there are always some payment factor attached to it. And I see there are some, teachers that try to back out, like how much we're going to pay to get ourselves trained and all that, because most of the time the schools also cannot fund it out. So some teachers have to do their own funding also for these trainings and all that. So we should provide more platforms for this easy and effective and free of cost trainings, so that the teachers, they get the trainings in the true spirit and we are properly able to execute the NEP.
I have one supplementary question on this, Sahni ma'am. How much we can, how much a teacher is supposed to pay for those kind of training? For example, I believe CBSE charges 1,000 rupee, 800 rupee, 500 rupee per training, right?
Yeah.
Let's say teacher attends, let's say 20 trainings a year, so 20,000 investment.
Yeah.
I have two parts in this question. First part, why a teacher should not look at it that this is a huge investment on itself, like he or she will get 20 certificates at the end of the year, number one. And why schools don't look at it as an investment, because they are going to, their teachers are getting empowered. For example, 100 teachers they have, and they are investing, let's say, 5,000 per teacher. So 5 lakh rupee of investment every year. So I want to understand that part. So what are the challenges? Why schools are not looking at it as an investment? Why teachers are not looking at it as an investment?
Yeah, that is there. I would say if you say it from the school point of view, they think that, teachers, first of all, as we know that in the private sector, especially, teachers are not stable also. So they have an apprehension, like supposing they're going to spend an amount on a teacher this year, they train that teacher, and next session, the teacher moves on to the other school. Or maybe they get transferred, or there are so many other things, I'm getting a government job or whatever. So the money goes waste. This is one thing the management thinks. Then the second thing the management feels is that why do I spend an amount on the teachers and get them trained? I should get ones who are already trained. Means if I'm paying, so why should I be paying those extra things like that? And from teachers, because I would say it's all a mixed opinion, because some schools are very positive on this aspect and they are funding it out. They're not telling the teachers to spend for their own trainings, but majority schools are
Absolutely.
teachers. And as we talk about the teachers, they also say, Arey, what is this? When we are, especially in this time of pandemic, when they were not even getting the proper salaries, because I think in most of the schools, there was, in fact, a period when, the fees were not coming and they were having all the constraints of giving salaries and all that. And then you tell the teachers, okay, get yourself trained as well. So, I mean, there were a lot of, I would say a lot of reactions, and I mean,
Absolutely. But I believe that free training is is a flop idea. I would say from the inception only.
uh,
No one values free programs.
yeah, yeah.
That's one thing.
So
I've been
just
working with. Yeah,
sort
please.
of craft teachers feel whatever we are told in the trainings, we already know it. Especially those who are the experienced ones, they say we don't need a training.
That
So
that can only happen. That can only happen when they I would say they don't give too much value to a particular training program, or they don't get good training programs. You
yeah,
know,
that exactly. Both things are there. Both things are there. Yes, yes, I
right?
agree.
So in fact, there is one big concern when you say like management think that way. If we train a teacher and he or she goes away, what would happen if he or she does not go away?
Exactly. Then they're their asset and they're supposed to treasure it. They should train them well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is a
So
big concern area that should be
execution is needed in both the thought processes. May it be the
both thought of- absolutely. And I'm sure Sudha ma'am would give more light to this. I've worked with corporates, across my professional life. I believe that if we, create that kind of training environment, that environment which motivates for learning, there is a very low attrition rate. We create value for our, clients, and, for schools, so we can create more value for parents, for students. And I believe that attrition rate would also fall back. Now, I would request Sudha ma'am, if we can have your concluding remark, and I would also request if you can also share your opinion on that training part. Where are the challenges? Why teachers are not willing to train themselves? Why management are not willing to train their teachers? And then I'll come back to you. What would be your idea if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Okay. See, as far as the training part is concerned, money is involved. Managements are not really in for it. They are not interested in spending money on teachers. What they want is let the teacher spend. Even for CBSE courses where 100 rupees they had to pay for 1 hour, the managements were not paying the amount. And the teachers were of the opinion that, okay, why should we to spend? Because we are not getting the entire salary. We are getting half the salary or maybe 70% of the salary. So that kind of a situation was arising. Now, when we talk about the Diksha portal, which is free, there all the teachers had enrolled. They all went for it. And all of them have done all the 18 courses that were free of cost. And they have received a certificate as well. So teachers are interested. Moreover, what we do is we tell a few of our teachers whom we find that, okay, they are capable enough. They could take, sometimes I too take sessions. So free of cost, if you're teaching them how to make a lesson plan and how to, so many topics are there which could be taken up in the school itself. Every Saturday, or second Saturday, fourth Saturday, or first Saturday, third Saturday, when children are not in school, these trainings could be taken up. And teachers really enjoy such sessions. They learn a lot and they are so participative. They really show interest in it. And these trainings are an essential part of a teacher. Teachers, because teachers are learners. If they are not learning, how are they going to pass on to the students? If they get
Absolutely.
stagnated, if they are not uh, well versed with new things. Say, for example, when online classes on 25th, we started our process. I had given a word that, okay, we should be the first ones to begin with the online classes. So 25th and 26th, we gave the training. 2 days were given to the children, giving them passwords and getting trying and practicing how to get online and how to attend the classes. Although serious studies didn't happen on those 2 days, only giving them passwords and making the parents understand and making the children understand. So it was a real with in my school, at least I can say that there were hardly any teachers except the computer teachers. Nobody else knew how to even log in. That kind of a situation it was. And within I gave the word that there is no looking back now. Once I have given a word means everybody has to be participative, everybody. And the ones we had two computer teachers, rather three. One takes care of the smart classes and all, one hardware person, four of them were given few classes. You will train these teachers, you will train these teachers. And the entire school got trained within 2 days. And they found it first. I was the first one. I told them, okay, teach me first. Let me see how difficult it is. The moment I saw it is just a click of this thing, it's so simple as that. So when I got to know the things, I told them, first of all, shun your fears. You people are scared. First of all, you shun that fear. Once the fear is away, it's not a big deal. So they all were very adjusting.
I believe you truly deserve to. Until now, you have been the minister of your school only, but you truly deserve to be minister of education for the entire country. So, what would be your priority if you become the minister of education for our country, Sudha ma'am?
Teaching is one profession where people need to be passionate about their job. If they are not passionate, they don't deserve to be here. I seriously and strongly feel about it. If you're teaching happily, if it gives you happiness, only then should you get into this profession. Only passionate people. I would ensure, first thing that I would ensure is taking interviews, rounds of interviews, trying to find out how interested is the person in this line. Are they compassionate? Are they making the classes experiential? Do they have that caliber that they make it experiential learning? Are they able to make the classrooms joyful? Are they able to mold the children in such a way that child looks forward to coming to school the next day? Happily, I have to go, that kind of if the teachers are compassionate, if the teachers are good with their children, we have seen children telling their parents, today, chutti nahi chahiye. I don't want to sit. Supposing they have to go for a function or something, they will be saying, no, we don't want to go there. We want to go to
Absolutely, absolutely. That happens when we have a passionate trainer. But the challenge is we don't have passionate trainers, passionate educator, which Dhirendra sir said in the beginning. So, what would be, if I ask you, what would be that one idea if you become Minister of Education from that country's minister point of view? कि हम passionate trainers को create कर सकें. Before I go to Dhirendra sir and Vishakha ji, तो सुधा मैम, आपका वो एक आइडिया क्या होगा जो आपको लगता है कि ये अगर करते हैं, क्या हमें टीचर्स की सैलरीज को 4 times कर देना चाहिए? क्या उससे होगा? क्या हमें कैसे होगा?
That salary factor does matter. In our schools, if you see, half the salary is provided, and after deduction, even more. So somewhere the teachers are demotivated. But that is not the only factor. That is not the only factor. But how do we create people who are passionate is introduce yoga for them, introduce meditation for them, let them get out of negativity. First thing, that gossip mongering and mischief mongering and negativity needs to be removed from the workplace. First thing. Once that is removed, then encouraging the teachers. Okay, today you have to teach this to all the
regular training program, regular engagement program.
Let them sit department wise. The English teacher sitting together. Okay, today this teacher is going to take a session. Tomorrow it is her turn. Give them different topics. And it is real pleasure when they teach their own colleagues. So
Absolutely.
gradually that happiness quotient should be inculcated in the teachers.
Absolutely.
Once we have inculcated that, we are successful. We are definitely going to be successful. So
We'll
teach,
also organize a separate session, for that, where we can understand your best practices. We can create a
definitely.
kind of platform where you can share those best practices, and we all
Now,
appreciate that.
what I have started is like all the science teachers sit together. So the senior teachers are going to ask the junior ones, okay, if you're going to teach photosynthesis, how are you going to do it practically in the class? How, meaning hands-on, experiential learning. Then things become interesting. Then it's not rote learning. So each teacher, whether it's grammar, English grammar, Hindi grammar, what are the activities you're going to do? That's the
Right.
first. That's the first thing. Once
Right.
it becomes activity based, classes become happy. Children
Absolutely.
become happy. Teachers are feeling very satisfied and contented, that yes, today I have done something. Today, you go to the classes, you tell them to narrate a story. A child of class 2, 3 speaking in English the entire story. The teacher was teaching in Hindi. I went in, I told, okay, can anyone tell me this story that teacher has narrated? To my surprise, the child began in English. I said, this is a Hindi class, you're speaking in English. So I said, no, but I don't want to stop you. You
That
just
is a true
continue.
example. That is a true example where we have that kind of motivating environment, which
Yeah.
all of you have spoken during the session. So thank you, Sudha ma'am. Because of the shortage of time, we all are interested in knowing more your secrets, but because of this limitation of time, our loss only. So now, before I go to Dhirendra sir, I would request Vishakha ma'am, if we can have your concluding remark, and what would be your idea if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
All right. So after getting a certificate from the Ministry of Education, now I have to, think about being a minister myself. All
To
right.
give
Wonderful.
certificates to others.
To give certificates to others. All right. So first thing is about the NEP, I would say that I would want it to be a very, very strongly implemented document in its true spirit. The way they have drafted it, same should be the same zest and zeal should be there for the implementation. Now if I was the Minister of Education, first thing that I would like to do is reach out to the core, reach out to where it is actually required. Our schools, our children, the kind of parents we have, they can provide, but there are areas, there are regions where children are not able to access devices. हम बात कर रहे हैं कंप्यूटर लिटरेसी की, AI की, कोडिंग की, ये बच्चे जानते नहीं है ये वर्ड्स क्या होते हैं. To reach out, I guess, is what I would work out. I know it involves a lot of finance, and just by saying it doesn't work. But then, yes, my effort would be to reach out to those 5 crore children for whom literacy and numeracy is the requirement of the present time. So let's start from the base. When the base is strong, the building will be strong itself.
Absolutely. So you'll work on the foundation part. Thank you, Vishakha ma'am, for that wonderful comment. Thank you, Sudha ma'am. And now I would request Dhirendra sir, if I may request you for your concluding remark. And we have also established that practice that if you get a chance to become Minister of Education, so what would be your idea that you would like to implement?
Thank you, and I really regret that for internet fluctuations, I'm just moving in and out of this forum. But as what you are suggesting is that if I become the education minister, could you repeat it? Because
two parts. Your concluding remark, part A, and what would be your idea if you get a chance to become Minister of Education? What you would like to implement?
All right. See, concluding remarks for this session is that whatever little bit I could hear, it is very encouraging that the information is percolating down, and people who are at the ground level, they are slowly grasping the situation. All right, what is expected from them in next 5 years to 10 years of time? That is one. Secondly, I'm also happy with that whatever I started with, that managements and teachers, the kind of teachers, their passion about the profession. The same thing is resounding from the other speakers also. That means that this is a common denominator across all schools. So something needs to be done if I become the education minister. See, somewhere we need to streamline the recruitment process. All right, we need to be creative, especially when we have a very advanced technology of augmented reality and artificial intelligence. Maybe we can design such type of recruitment process where we are able to gauge the inside thought process of a candidate. Otherwise, see, I have seen children, they will give a very good speech on pollution and water conservation and electricity. But when they are moving out of the classroom, none of them would bother to switch off the fans and the tube light. So that speech in the morning and evening when you are leaving the class, if that does not tally, it does not make any sense. All right. So it is because we are all used to कि हम बोलेंगे कुछ, करेंगे कुछ, सोचेंगे कुछ और ना, इसके बीच में एक तालमेल होना चाहिए और वो टीचर अगर ठीक होगा तो वो हो सकता है. That is one. And if I become the education minister, the only thing I will do is, there is a lot of mafia thing which has creeped into the education sector. I'll get rid of it, or I will try to reduce their or minimize their impact, because education, the cost of education is now going beyond means of a average middle class family. है ना, आज की डेट में आदमी एक ही चीज बोलता है. पहले बोलते थे वकील से बचो, डॉक्टर से बचो, है ना. एजुकेशन से बचने का कोई तरीका ही नहीं था. वकील और डॉक्टर से तो बच सकते हैं, पर एजुकेशन से बचने का कोई तरीका नहीं. बट टुडे एजुकेशन इज बिकमिंग वेरी एक्सपेंसिव, and it is because of multiple reasons. Government must look into it so that this education comes within reach of the masses and it is affordable. All right, otherwise students are taking की चौथाई जिंदगी जो है वो एजुकेशन लोन चुकता करने में निकल जाती है. All right, so something needs to be done on this count. All right, that's all from my side. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dhirendra sir. Thank you all the other key speakers, Sudha ma'am, Sahani ma'am, Vishakha ma'am, Manisha ma'am, for participating. Deepika Yadav ji, Nitin Nagpal ji, for sharing your thoughts and ideas. Big thanks, for joining this very special 114th session of Leadership Talks by India International Education Council and School Lalaji. We'll end the session here. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And Sudha ma'am, we'll definitely organize a dedicated session for your best practices. We would like to know your secrets in detail.
Definitely, I'll join in.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Thank you,
having us
Vishakha ma'am.
here. And it's a pleasure being on this platform. So hope
Thank
to
you.
see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Absolutely.
And thanks to all the other educators who equally shared their thoughts and ideas. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sani ma'am, for joining and sharing your ideas. You're on mute, ma'am.
My pleasure indeed.
Honored with your presence. Thank you.
Thank you.